Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over the official Battlefield 6 open beta debrief. So hello everyone, thank you to everyone who joined us during the Battlefield 6 open beta weekends. Your passion and feedback have been invaluable. With tens of thousands connecting to Discord to play together, over 600,000 hours streamed and over 30 million hours watched, your enthusiasm and participation is what made it great. Now that on its own, those are some pretty good numbers, but that was over only 2 weekends. That's an amazing amount of watch time. 420 million total matches played, 92 million hours of gameplay, almost 5 billion enemies killed, 30 million friendlies revived. Those are insane numbers. Breakdown of classes: 32% assault, 26% support, 23% engineer, and 19 recon. 5.3 million road kills, 9.3 million tanks destroyed by engineers, 9.6 million helicopters destroyed, 3.4 million jets destroyed, 337 million kills with shotguns, and even 7.5 million almost in defibrillator kills, with 196 billion in destruction receipts. Initial learnings and in-game changes. As we approach the launch of Battlefield 6 on October 10th, we'd like to take a moment to look back at the recent open beta to share our key learnings and in-game changes we're making based on your feedback and in-game data. First, the weapons. We're making targeted adjustments to deliver a more consistent and rewarding gunplay experience. This includes a general pass on recoil and tap-fire characteristics across all weapons, further emphasizing their unique feel and improving range differentiation. We've also made changes to encourage more controlled tap firing and burst firing, rewarding precision and weapon mastery. Additionally, the M87A1 shotgun now requires more pellets to secure a kill. We're investigating the time to kill and time to death experiences, and we will share an update if definitive changes are made in these areas. I think these are great changes. The elephant in the room, that's the shotgun. People were just running around. That was kind of the go-to weapon for a lot of people. It was basically a one-shot kill. So that'll be interesting to see how far they push the changes on there. It'll be interesting to see what sort of changes they make with tap firing and burst firing. See if they're going to add more bloom or more recoil. They say they're going to make changes, but I didn't really know if they were what they were meaning, if they were going to make it better or make it worse, or if it was going to be perhaps better on some guns and worse on others. Maybe tuning some of the attachments. We'll have to see what comes out of those changes there. Movement mechanics have been adjusted to create a more balanced and traditional Battlefield experience. Momentum, especially horizontal speed, carried from a slide into a jump has been reduced. There is now a greater penalty for consecutive jumps, which lowers jump height when jumps are spammed. Firing when jumping or sliding will result in increased inaccuracy. These changes are designed to make sliding and jumping more situational, so they are no longer ideal options for engaging in gunfights and will contribute to a gameplay pace that rewards skillful movement without becoming too fast or unpredictable. Parachute physics have also been retuned with reduced initial acceleration when opening the parachute for more controlled aerial movement. I think these are going to be welcome changes. Particularly, I think the slide was a little bit overused. It just seemed to be an ideal option all the time. It'll be nice to see a little bit of variety when that doesn't always become the case. And there's, holding still to fire, maybe is going to give you more accuracy, right? Maps. We observe some players finding a way to reach rooftops and venture out of bounds. This gameplay is not intended for these maps, and the upcoming ladder for the assault class is also not designed to access these areas. We're actively working on adjustments to prevent unintended access and ensure gameplay stays within the intended boundaries. We also heard strong feedback from players excited by the larger scale maps that Battlefield has to offer. While the open beta featured smaller, more fast-paced maps, larger scale maps are already part of the launch package, delivering action-packed gameplay and memorable, unique moments for every player. As part of the upcoming Battlefield Labs testing, we'll be testing 2 new multiplayer maps, one set in Mirak Valley, and the other a remake of the fan favorite from Battlefield 3, Operation Firestorm. These 2 maps include the full complement of vehicles like Liberation Peak, along with a more vast combat space. That's great to hear that they've still got the larger scale maps planned. Those are some of my favorites to play on. Operation Firestorm, that's probably one of my top maps from the original set of maps released in Battlefield 3. So I'm really looking forward to seeing a remake of that. Modes. When it comes to Rush, the conversation we observed wasn't just about player count, but also about how maps play and the tactical experience they offer. Rush is a mode with deep roots. Originally known as Gold Rush in Bad Company, where matches typically range from 12v12 to 16v16 players. Many of you remember this as the golden era of Rush, and it continues to inspire our approach today. We've experimented with larger player counts over the years, such as 64 and even 128 player versions. While these matches created intense, fast-paced moments, they also led to issues. Overwhelming defenses, stalled front lines, and too many games ending in the first sector. Rush is especially sensitive to higher player counts due to its tactical and strategic requirements. When a player tries to arm the MCOM when more than 20 opponents are defending, the intended gameplay becomes less tangible. Based on feedback throughout recent titles, we're lowering the default player count for Rush to improve the flow of combat and restore the tactical, methodical experience that defines the mode. For those who enjoy large-scale Rush, Portal will allow you to experiment with different player counts at launch. In contrast, Breakthrough is designed to accommodate higher player counts of up to 64 players, and that's where the mode really shines. Using win-loss data from the open beta, we're continuing to make map-by-map balance adjustments towards our goal of a 50-50 win ratio for both attackers and defenders. The approach to player counts. There was some confusion around the number of players in different games, so we wanted to take a moment to clarify our current direction for how these get determined. Rather than locking maps and modes to a fixed player count, our philosophy is to adapt to best fit the intended experience. This may vary by map or evolve over time with player feedback. For example, at launch, some Breakthrough layouts will support 48 players, while others will have 64. It's one of the many factors we adjust to create the right balance and feel for each scenario. In Breakthrough, higher player counts work well on open, dynamic maps, while smaller player groups offer a more focused experience on denser maps. Portal gives players the flexibility to try different settings and find what works best for their group and playstyle. Finding the right balance is an ongoing process as everyone gets familiar with map size, lanes, and combat spaces. For now, we've found that 8v8 provides a solid starting point for small-scale, fast-paced modes like Team Deathmatch, Squad Deathmatch, Domination, and King of the Hill. That kind of ties back to the last section. Great that they're taking a look at player counts to kind of optimize the feel of the game and how each mode plays. And it's also great that people will have access to Portal. If they want to kind of change it up, change the game rules. 8v8 is an interesting starting point for the smaller scale maps. On some of those, it makes a little bit of sense. Like Squad Deathmatch in particular, especially if you're going to have some, pre-organized squads facing off against each other. It provides for a neat experience. But in King of the Hill and Domination, that might be a little low player count on some of them. It might really slow the mode down a little bit. Playlist options. A limited variety of playlist options were created for the open beta to showcase and test the flexibility of the matchmaking system. Playing with both open and closed weapons will continue to be options in Battlefield 6, and we're looking for ways to keep them easily accessible. We recognize that some players experience difficulty finding games to complete the challenge of capturing sectors and Breakthrough or Rush. It wasn't ideal, and we're actively using your feedback and in-game data to review and improve the matchmaking system, with a goal of providing a smoother experience in the future. It's an interesting take to have the open weapons. On one hand, it kind of dilutes the player base. So if you've got one game mode, do Conquest or Rush, and you want open weapons, other people, they're queuing up closed weapons. I could have some trouble getting matchmaking going. But I would definitely agree that it is nice to have that option for players. I'm just hoping it doesn't have a negative impact. I also think it's great they're taking a look at challenges and see how difficult that was to achieve for some people. Challenges or achievements make sense and kind of contribute to your gameplay experience. That's great. But if it's getting in the way of enjoying the game, I think that does need to get looked at. Reflecting on the open beta and next steps, with the insights gathered during the open beta play sessions, we will be introducing in-game adjustments in upcoming Battlefield Labs events. Stay tuned for progress updates and future opportunities to get involved. Join the Discord. Lastly, again, thanks for joining the Battlefield 6 Open Beta. Your feedback and participation make it an incredible experience. I think that's great. They're going to continue to do some testing through Battlefield Labs. Hopefully they'll get a chance to get invited to that and try out some of these changes before they go live on the launch on October 10th. Provide your feedback and, contribute to making the game the best that it can be at launch. Hopefully we can avoid some of the problems that have plagued other Battlefield titles on release and have things kind of tuned up into a state where we can all enjoy them on day one on launch. All right, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more updates.